everybody, and welcome to my first tutorial here on YouTube. This is going to be how to watermark your image, or if you're using it for a mock-up, or if you're going to be sharing your designs and you just want to watermark them before they're downloaded for purchase. People in our group and online on TikTok, like sometimes they'll ask, like, how do I watermark? How do I do that? And a lot of people really don't know how, and they want to protect their listings and their drawings and whatnot. So I have here a free account with Canva, and I have an image that I made in Adobe Illustrator here. I just made it here just for the video, and I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how to watermark, or the way I watermark. There's 3 simple ways to do this. You could do it by text layer, and also your logo. So I have my logo here and my text layer, but we're going to start off with simple text. Now, when you watermark, you're going to open Canva, get your image open, and click over here where it says text, add a text box. And you can add like your domain, which would be like www.whatever.com, or your social media handle. So for me, I'm just going to press at Otty's Creations. My social media handles are the same on all platforms, or I at least try to get them all the same, but they're the same for the most part. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click in there, Control A to select all my text, and I want to pick a good bold text to watermark. I'm just going to amp up the size here. Maybe something like that. Right there's perfect. And as you can see, it's just the text, nothing crazy. You can also you can leave it like this, or you can make it where the transparency of the text is brought down, where it doesn't make it too much of an eyesore on your listing and images or your mockups. Now, this is a great way also to protect artists that you are using, like Lumisto Designs. I use a lot of her designs, so I like to add a little watermark on my videos or my listings whenever I do use her designs, because her or anybody else's, because designs get stolen like crazy and they're dumped crazy in these Facebook groups and stuff like that. So it's good to always watermark your images. So I'm just going to move it up here. I had the transparency at 30%. You can go lower for your preference, or you can leave it as so. You can also hold down Alt and drag your text up to kind of give it a little more difficulty if somebody was trying to steal it from you. So even here, you can change the color of that. You can make that white so it's a little more visible. At the same time, it looks like a watermark still. So we can even go back here and change that white as well. So it's all up to you, your preference of the listing, the colors of your listing. You want to make it more cohesive with your listing and your, the design that you have. Another way to do this, as well as I've mentioned, was to use a text layer. If you have Canva or Photoshop, Picsart, you can make an image with a transparent background with your domain name, your social media handle, and just like duplicate it from left to right. So I made this in Photoshop with a pixel font, which makes it a lot harder to steal when people want to take listings and stuff. So this is a pixel font with a 1 pixel stroke or outline on the text, as people call it, an outline. In Photoshop, it's called a stroke. So I'm just going to cover my image here. And as you can see, it's like crazy looking right now. Like you can't see my image itself, but we're going to bring it down in the opacity, and you want to bring it down to a reasonable amount. I'm going to say 30% is my go-to for that. So, yeah, this looks great. I would list it like this. Personally, I like the way it looks when it has this type of watermark. You can also add your logo or your picture logo, whatever you have. And we're going to do that here. I'm going to delete that and then add my logo. Same thing applies. I've seen a lot of people kind of like make their logo as big as the listing, and they bring down the opacity down to the same percentage or a little less, so it's not as obstructive when you're looking at it or crazy looking. So, I mean, you can leave it like that. Preferably, you can do it a lot smaller, or you can have it on the side here, like so. I've seen people do these with all of their images and different times. It's just a preference where you would like to place your logo and how dark you want your logo to be on your listing. Or you can just flat out keep it at 100% and kind of leave it somewhere like that. Anywhere you would like, where you're comfortable with leaving your logo, so your listing is less likely to be taken. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Picsart, which is another app that's free for like Android and I believe Apple users, or any kind of apps like that that do the same thing, editing apps. And I have my image here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with adding text. Now I'm just going to type in my text. I'm actually going to do my @ and the editing of this is pretty simple. It's the same thing, but in here I would also like to edit like the stroke or the outline to give it a little more depth so it's less likely to be taken. I would like to add some shadow here. And then after I've added a little more depth to the text, you can also change like the font style, which I'm fine with the font that it's at, but you can bring you can change the color. If you're a premium member, you can take another step of like highlighting, which is not necessary for watermarking, but whatever, you know, floats your boat when watermarking. And then it also allows spacing and stuff like that. But I'm just easy peasy, free editing. So we're just going to click opacity and bring the opacity down to a reasonable percentage. So like, I believe 30 is not too bad. So you can do it like that, or do the text layer like I did in Canva. So I'm just going to take this off, X out, and I'm going to go to add photo. I'm going to use my logo here and do the same thing. Like, you can leave your logo to the side, or you can make it much larger to cover and bring the opacity down as well. And I feel like the opacity on the app is a little different than it is Canva. It's a lot more visible. So you want to make sure that it's at a pretty good amount, nothing too crazy. So even this is the text layer that I made, and again, you can make these kind of text layers, and even in Picsart or Canva, just save them with a transparent background and upload them to Picsart to place over your listings or your images that you're going to be selling. So I went ahead and stretched this out. I'm going to bring the opacity down to about 30 again. That's a decent one. And I can also upload this and post it online. This is a comfortable image for me to post that's less likely to get stolen, especially. And then last but not least is a video watermark, which I use a lot. It's called Inshot. I actually have a paid version of this, but the basic features are free. So you're gonna open InShot. You can find this in the Play Store, or maybe for iOS. I'm not too sure if it's there, but it should be similar with other apps on there. You're gonna click Video, New, and I'm gonna click a video I have downloaded already, which is one of my TikTok videos. Add it to the board here, and it does have a watermark, and you can pay to remove it, but I'm gonna leave it as so. And you could change the canvas back to like TikTok size, so that way it doesn't change it and have that weird white part. See, you could do a free remove. I didn't know that you can do a free remove, but you'll be watching an ad. So let's watch an ad real quick. All right, so after you've watched your video to remove the watermark, you can go ahead and add text over your video, which is found here. Click text, and I'm going to add my website, which would be www.ottyscreations.com, and it's pretty big, so I'm just going to bring it down some. And this is just going to be a basic watermark. Like, you can jazz it up with, you know, an outline or a border. In this app, it calls the stroke, calls it a border. And then shadow, adding shadow is like a great way to add depth to the watermark. I'm just going to leave it as so. And then I'm going to click right here where it says opacity. This is where you're going to bring the opacity down to make it more of a watermark. So that way your videos are less likely to get stolen, and also images from your video. So if you're like showcasing something new with a mock-up, or something new as a design, or something that requires a watermark with an artist's policy, this is a great way to ensure that you follow through on your end with the policy. So I'm just going to click check mark here, and you can move it wherever you like, wherever you would think it'd be best visible, especially with the TikTok icons. So I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to click the beginning arrow here and click video beginning, click this arrow, and click clip end, so that way it goes throughout the whole video. If you just want it on a portion of your video where you're showcasing an image, definitely only make the measurements to fit that part of the video. But as you can see here, which I'm actually going to mute the audio so that way I am not copyrighted for that. Okay. Just going to press play, and as you can see, the watermark is stuck on your screen. It's not going to go anywhere. And it's the best way to protect your videos, because people also duplicate videos online and they make pages that act like these are their creations. But you could definitely protect yourself more when it comes to watermarking your videos, your content, your listings, and your art. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Your requests, please leave them below. I'm more than happy to see if this is something I'm capable to do in the future for you guys, to help you guys out more with more video tutorials on YouTube. But thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.